Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and today I will be discussing with you how I proofread a book, since right now I am actually proofreading a book. And I'll also go over the steps that I take as I do it. I'm starting this vlog about 150 pages into around 400. So I'll be kind of doing like a voiceover as, you watch me edit through the steps and all of that. I do plan to edit for about 8 to 10 hours today. I'm filming this on Saturday. It's a beautiful day. We're gonna go outside. It's gonna be great. And this is me just being a fat ass because honestly, I love snacks. Talking to my roommate Farouk, he was outside with me, shirtless and painting. So yeah. It's so hot outside, but I really wanted to enjoy summer to the fullest when I was editing this. And my deck is really nice, even though we didn't get any furniture except this mat. We made do. Plus, we figured there wasn't any reason to buy any furniture since no one really comes over, you know. This is Theo, if you guys haven't already met her, and my boyfriend is carrying her. We held her very securely outside because she actually loves being in the outdoors, so we try to give her that every so often. We're planning on getting a leash soon so she can just freely roam around, but for now, she'll just be a very curious cat. Now, Nellie is a whole different species. She is terrified of everything in life. She's terrified of every single sound. So whenever we bring her outside, it's usually only for like a couple seconds because she does not enjoy it at all. Let's get more serious. Just to be clear, proofreading is not the same as editing. As a proofreader, I'm just reviewing a final draft to see and make sure everything is consistent, along with like the grammar, spelling, and layout. Specifically, I check for things like subject-verb agreement, incorrect word choices, punctuation issues, incorrect spelling, and the tense. Proofreading should always be the last step that you take before you send it to a publisher. It should not be the first step that you take. If you've already gone through your book and edited it and you just want someone to look over it, that's good. But if you've just finished your book and you want to just send it off to get proofread, you aren't willing to do the other two steps, which would be a copy edit or developmental edit, then I really don't recommend doing that because a lot of editors will refuse. Because if your book is just not well written and then you just want to proofread, that's going to be way too much work and they aren't going to be willing to do that for the amount that you're going to pay them. If you try to get an editor to just proofread after you've just finished writing your book, they may give a hard no and recommend you to a more extensive edit because that may be what your book needs. If you aren't willing to pay for a more extensive edit, then that's not their issue. Please don't be rude to an editor for recommending a high level edit because they have bills to pay too, and editing a book that's just been written won't be a simple task. It'll probably take a month or even longer depending on how much work it needs. This is their livelihood, my livelihood, so keep that in mind. For any book that I'm editing, I will actually make a style sheet. In a sense, this is like a rule book for your book, or the book that you're editing, I mean. While I do use the Chicago Manual of Style, it's important to always have a style sheet for the book that you're working on, or even if you're the author, it's important to have a style sheet. Because each book is not going to be the same. You're not always going to have the same issues. And the issue that I have with the Chicago Manual of Style is while it's fantastic, it also offers too many options, if that even makes sense. It offers too many options, and that's something that you have to learn with your author as you discover their writing to see what they do the most and adapt it to your editing. I'll go over that with you guys. With this particular book, I can't say the name of it for legal reasons, but I will be promoting it once it's published. It was way too hot, so I decided to go and put my hair up. Sorry for the interruption. Let's continue on, shall we? He actually has a pretty consistent and interesting writing style throughout the book, so I don't have to be too conscious of that. His style is good. He's obviously had this book looked over a few times, so that's good. Remember, it's a proofread. I'm not required to do that much, and even if there are things wrong with the syntax or with the flow of the book, that is not something that I am required to look at. I'm just going over the basic shit. However, he does have an issue that I don't think was addressed by if he's had it edited before or if he even personally edited it himself. He does have an issue where he's quoting a lot of song lyrics. Now, for those of you who don't know, you cannot really quote song lyrics in your books. You can mention the song title, the singer, all of that stuff, but unless it was written or unless it was sung before 1924, I believe, it cannot be included in your book. You can't include the song lyrics. You'll get a huge copyright strike, have to pay a fine, all of that fun stuff. Nobody wants to do that, right? Otherwise, you'll just have to get permission from the publisher of the lyrics. That is an option as well, but it's kind of a hassle and you may have to pay a large fee to even do that. It's kind of like the same thing with YouTube Music. If you want to use certain songs on YouTube, you have to pay a fine or you have to pay a certain amount to have the right to play that song in your video. But if he really, really wants to quote these lyrics, he'll have to go to somewhere like the American Society of Composers or Authors and Publishers or somewhere else. More research could be done on that, but unless he's willing to get into that, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just if you're editing your own book or if you're writing your own book, don't include the song lyrics unless they're before 1924. You can include song lyrics in a more like sly way, like you could make a joke about it in dialogue, stuff like that. You know, you can do that. You just have to be very careful with how you do it. And that's what editors are there for. But in this case, he just like directly quoted the song lyrics. He didn't really make any joke about it or anything like that. So they can't go in. He doesn't actually have a lot of words that are misspelled either, at least not so far. His writing is pretty consistent, like I said. There are just things that he consistently does throughout the book that shouldn't be done, like capitalizing words, or there's a few misspellings. I've added this to my style sheet so that I can go back, Control F, and find that word to fix it in each instance later on. Some editors like to do it immediately, but I like to make a note of it once I've seen this style a couple of times, and I'll instead just move on. But I make a note of it once I see it a few times and I'll just move on instead, opting to check through it again. It was way too hot outside, so I decided to move indoors for at least a little bit. But as I did this, I was like, hey, I'm kinda hungry. Even though I'm covered in these adorable little kittens, I think it's time to make dinner. I told Kevin to go with Farouk to wherever they plan on going. And, after being with someone for like it's been 5.5 years, it's weird being alone in the apartment. Because normally, he goes to work, but usually I'm busy with work or whatever. We always eat dinner together though. Just wanted to share that with y'all with this terrible audio. Yeah. So after I will be done proofreading this book, which should be today, Saturday, or tomorrow on Sunday, I'll be putting the book into a proper layout and I will send it to him and see if he likes it. He'll do the check through on that day or sometime that week, and he'll give me feedback on what he approves on, what he doesn't. I will send him 2 different documents, one with everything accepted and then one with everything not accepted, and he can choose which one he wants to use and say, hey, I like this, but I didn't like this. And he'll have to go through and fix the comments and all of that stuff through word tracking. It's totally open communication between the author and the editor, and that should be said in the contract that is laid out for you. You should always have a contract, guys. If you hire an editor and they don't make a contract with you, and they especially try to ask for payment before you guys sign this, that is a huge red flag. Do not do that. Make sure there is something for you both to sign that is legal. Please read through the contract. These contracts are not extensive. The one I have is only 1.5 pages long. It's not a lot to read, but it's very straightforward. You pay me, I give you an edited book. Simple, straight to the point. Also keep in mind that as an editor or anything else, I'm always going to ask you for the first 3 chapters of your book so I can get an idea of what I am working with. If you originally want a proofread, but if I see a lot of errors and if I see a lot of issues, then I might actually recommend a more extensive edit. This is not me trying to get you to pay more money. Although, yes, I love money. Don't get me wrong. Everyone loves money. I'm going to give you the best option for your book. With this person, they wanted a proofread. I agreed with that because I believe that they did not need an extensive edit. I believe they just needed a little bit of a read through. However, there have been books that I have read where I have seen and they've requested a proofread, but in reality, it would have taken a lot more work and time for me to actually edit this book properly. So I had to tell them, no, I believe you really need a copy edit or you need a developmental edit, which is very extensive, very in-depth, and requires a lot of work. They weren't willing to pay, and that's okay. You know, that's your own choice. But getting the proper edit that you need is so important as a writer. There are so many books out there in the world that I believe could have been so much better, but they just weren't because the author couldn't be bothered to put in the time, the money, the effort to get it fixed. Now, I'm not saying you need to hire an editor. I think you should hire an editor. But I'm saying, in general, finding an editor is important. But if you really can't afford an editor, you should at least use other programs to help you edit. Please plan the time to edit your book. Don't just write your book and try to instantly just publish it on Amazon or something. That's not gonna work. Your writing, your plot, your idea could be fantastic, but if you don't properly look over it after you're done writing it, no one's really gonna want to read it unless it's still amazing. I don't know. Hello and welcome back. So this is day 2. Actually, it's not day 2. I'm just recording this in 2 days when really this has been going on for 3 weeks now. Today I'm just putting the final touches on this manuscript. Really, I'm just going over things that I wrote down on my style sheet, things that I need to correct, things that I decide to change later on depending on the author's style, etc, etc. I look like shit because I'm just editing today. I don't really care how I look, and like I should care how I look on camera, but it doesn't really matter. But today I'm just gonna be inside because being outside, while it was great yesterday, it kind of distracted me and I did not get as much done as I thought that I would. So today I'm just gonna be here on my computer. I have a dual monitor setup that I think is pretty nifty. On one screen I can look up things, information I need to know, and then on the other I'm actually editing. So it's very convenient, and Kevin helped me with that. He's really good with computers. Because when you're figuring out your male or female counterpart, you should really consider what they can bring to the table. What assets do they have? See, I picked mine based on the fact that he could build me a computer and get me a nice setup for my computer. That's how you pick them. So now I'm just going to record myself working and you'll just see a little bit of, yeah, my process. Anyways, guys, so this was my little vlog today of me proofreading this book. I enjoyed doing this with you guys. Not used to it. And while this isn't exactly like an edit, proofreading is still a type of an edit, and I really wanted to go through the stages of this with you guys because I thought it was pretty interesting. Maybe you'll find it interesting, maybe you won't. Or maybe this will encourage you to get a proofreader in the future. So I'm actually putting the final touches on it right now, so I will be done today and I will send that off in just a couple minutes. So I just want to say thank you guys so much, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I release videos between Monday and Friday or Saturday every week. If you guys like the content, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Have a great day.